Welcome to today's Flying Talkers broadcast. We are here to tell you today FlyingTypers was delighted to attend the Air Cargo Forum 2024 in Miami, which admittedly was built to be more than an exhibition. The promise was fulfilled, no doubt. We will have more after this brief timeout that brings word from today's sponsor, PayCargo. PayCargo, you should know in all forms of logistics, is the #1 financial platform for moving money and vital remittance information between payers and vendors. PayCargo's online solution allows you to move cargo faster and reduce payment costs more than any other platform available. Our patented technology effortlessly registers your company so that you can immediately start making payments to your freight providers. We have over 5,000 logistics vendors in our network, including major ocean carriers such as MSC, Ocean Network Express, ZIM, Maersk, Evergreen, Yangming, and hundreds of other terminals. Over 1,000 of these vendors released the cargo within an hour of receiving the payment approval alert from PayCargo. All other vendors release cargo no later than the following morning. For a more secure, efficient way to reduce costs associated with payment processing and to eliminate the traditional resource-intensive system of requesting, printing, mailing, and delivering checks, wire transfers, or cash, join other leading freight shipping companies and sign up with PayCargo today. We make it as easy as ship, click, and pay. And now back to Miami Beach, Florida, as we report about the Air Cargo Forum, ACF, last month. Many of our readers participated in the ACF this year. The fact that the ACF is more than an exhibition is a clear concept for the numerous participants of the ACF. Possibly the largest air cargo conference in the world. The ecumenical nature of TIACA comes to shine brightly when airlines, forwarders, shippers, airports, handlers, regulators, and an endless list of related third parties gather under the aegis of the International Air Cargo Association, TIACA, to discuss, learn, and decide on issues that matter for international trade at large. The entertainment, which is always there throughout the entire 3-day event, is not to be forgotten, but TIACA also manages to feature enjoyable working sessions without diminishing their importance. Looking at the pictures, it was obviously an exultant, successful conference. FT had the opportunity to meet old friends and make new ones, after the long hiatus caused by COVID. Glyn Hughes is the mastermind behind the organization since he took over as Director General in 2021. Not a very easy year, if you recall, to start in an organization such as TIACA, whose relevance and success is constantly measured by its ability to attract large numbers of professionals. Stay-at-home COVID was very much in play in 2021. Glyn was not only able to keep the machine moving despite the pandemic, but even increase its influence. To be sure, TIACA is far from being a one-man band. A glimpse to the names listed in the board gives you an idea of its significance in our area of business. Starting this interview, it was obvious that we had to reflect on the numbers before moving to the content. Here we said, Glyn, we read that the event drew over 3,500 delegates from over 80 countries across the globe to discuss issues that affect the global air cargo community. The exhibition featured over 300 booths from trucking, unit load devices, IT companies, airports, and airlines. Plenty of networking opportunities with new event features like the golf tournament, sunrise yoga sessions, evening receptions, and AF2F meeting scheduler connected delegates in fun and personal ways. Impressive numbers, sure thing. Do you think this is an established trend showing that the past restrictions are completely forgotten and we can look forward to a future of trade conferences as we experienced pre-COVID or even more? Glyn answered the first question, a great question to start. Firstly, we were absolutely delighted to have over 3,500 attendees, and from the feedback we have received so far, it was a perfect balance of airlines, freight forwarders, ground handlers, airports, industry suppliers, shippers, and regulatory agencies. The key value for delegates when attending conferences is to enhance business opportunities and relationships, whilst learning about industry trends and solutions, and of course having some fun in the process. We really hope that ACF 2024 ticked all the boxes. And with the annual event calendar getting fuller, it seems air cargo has an appetite for more of this type of engagement. Some people say that there are too many air cargo related events. But I believe the voice of the customer is the truest feedback. If they see value, they will attend, if not, they won't. As to COVID, I do see one lasting impact, which is the prevalence of hand sanitizer. We all shake many hands at these events, and we all seem to practice more careful health controls as a result. Glyn declared that we continued with this innovation that debuted in Miami. Noting that we read from his statements that, quote, this year's forum featured a main stage as well as the Air Cargo Spotlight stage, which allowed the industry to feature their developments on the trade show floor. Unquote. Could you explain how this works for the few who were not there and explain why being there in future is an absolute must? Glyn said. We always like to try new things based on prior event feedback. So the conference program we put on is controlled by TIACA in the sense we set the topics and invite the best speakers to educate and challenge the audience. The Spotlight stage, which was a smaller, more intimate setting, was available to organizations to manage a 30-minute slot as they wanted. Some chose to talk about a new product, others gave a corporate update, and others showcased a project which involved multi-party collaboration. So, it's a very different focus. The feedback, Glyn said, so far has been very positive. Our observation as reporters took note that topics such as airports, regulatory and business challenges, creating new opportunities, network expansion, digital innovation, people in the workplace, pharma, sustainability, and the air cargo outlook were some of the topics discussed. There is enough to write a policy paper, if not a book here. But if you wanted to take these topics one after another in terms of their impact on our industry, how would you start, we asked. Was as example any lesson learned this time that showed a new perspective? If compared to what you were looking at, say, 5 years ago? Or 10? Glyn pointed out here. This just reminds us of how complex our industry is and how it is impacted by so many different influences. There were some very key elements that came out of the discussions. We had 2 leadership roundtable sessions this year comprised of all sectors of the supply chain. And both sessions were extremely positive about the industry prospects for 2025. We also had 2 digitalization sessions which illustrated there is absolutely the right technology available today to achieve industry optimization, efficiency, and enhanced service. We just need to embrace the new world opportunities. Sustainability, compliance, workforce, and e-commerce also featured regularly in all the various panels, illustrating that these topics will also continue to shape the industry agenda. Glyn concluded. Here, as we continued our questions of Glen Hughes, we noted that one of the big features of the ACF was the Sustainability Award, noting to Glen, you allowed a fairly rare personal public statement. Quote, every year our industry submits so many innovative applications for the Air Cargo Sustainability Awards. The industry truly has taken this challenge to heart and is seeking unique ways to make air cargo more sustainable. It gives me great pleasure to congratulate Asia Airfreight Terminal, AAT, for being selected as the overall corporate winner and Alpha Augmented Services as the startup/small business winner. Unquote. Clearly, this shows a sense of personal commitment in an initiative that seems to be tailored for TIACA's policy area. We asked, can you share a bit more on how this award came about in the beginning and why it matters more and more today? Here is how Mr. Hughes approached that question, saying, an industry or organization that doesn't continually innovate will ultimately struggle to stay relevant or may even disappear. So it's crucial for air cargo to continue to drive new ideas, services, solutions, and procedures. TIACA wants to play a part in that journey, so the board established the annual Sustainability Awards 6 years ago and invites everyone to consider submitting a nomination. The criteria are very open to anything that impacts people, planet, or global/industry prosperity. We then have an independent jury who selects a corporate winner as the company that most inspired them with their submission and 3 finalists in the small business/startup category. Those finalists then present at the ACF, and the audience in the room votes to decide the ultimate winner in that category, who then receives a $10,000 prize and a trophy. Champ Cargo Systems generously support the awards. But all the nominations were amazing, so we will feature each in future newsletters dedicated to the Sustainability Awards. The program has been so successful we are considering creating a second award category to allow us to spotlight even more great initiatives. Glyn said Flying Talkers broadcast noted that moreover we personally saw many happy faces at the ACF and a number of colleagues and friends shared their appreciation and even their joy to participate in your meeting. We wondered asking Glyn which element has the biggest impact on their appreciation in your view? The high level of professionalism of the participants and the consequent quality of the conversations, or the sheer numbers that make the event impactful based on the camaraderie and the opportunities that such a large assembly of professionals affords? Glyn responded saying, "That is a really interesting question. I hope it's a case of all of the above. We really appreciate that people took time out of their busy schedules to attend the ACF, so I hope they got the best experience possible, from meeting current and future business partners to sharing ideas and opinions and to have fun at the various off-duty functions." He said finally in this interview we wondered about the quote, "next Global Air Cargo Forum that will be held in Abu Dhabi, November 4-7, 2025, and the recent claim that the Air Cargo Forum is expected to draw thousands of visitors over 4 days for exhibition, conference and networking. We wonder, a year from now, what does Glyn Hughes expect our industry's touch and feel will be by then? As example, we asked, do you expect any breakthrough? If so, in what areas? Have you thought of selecting a theme or a title for the event as others do?" Glyn closed here saying, "Indeed, our board took the decision to hold the ACF annually now with 2 permanent locations, Miami and Abu Dhabi. We hope that the upbeat industry perspective will be just as strong next November as you look towards 2026. The Abu Dhabi experience will try to build on the success of this year's event with even more opportunities to engage with each other." And Glyn added, "I must admit that I am really looking forward to an evening function at Ferrari World Theme Park and Museum." With thanks to Glyn Hughes, our best wishes also to you, dear listener, as Christmas 2024 is upon us, for your time this time. Until next time, keep flying air cargo and stay tuned for more up-to-the-minute industry news from Flying Talkers broadcast. We are informed, so you be informed. And here we say good night, Joe, wherever you are.